Welcome anybody. Well, in this video I'm going to create a Windows pipe. Then I'm going to write some data to the pipe on one end, and then I'm going to read the data from the pipe on the other end. To start, I have a standard console window, which when you run that, it just gives you the press enter, and that's it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a function, and I'll call it main. Up here I need to invoke the function. I'm going to need a couple local variables. I think I'll make one called hReadPipe, and I'll make one called hWritePipe. I'm going to do this. It may look a little backwards. I'm going to just let's just get started with this. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to invoke the function createPipe. So in Windows, there is code, and one of the functions that Windows has is called createPipe. And it wants hReadPipe. It wants hWritePipe. Security attributes. Okay. That's a structure I haven't created yet. I'm going to call it SAATTR. Create that in a minute. And the size, I guess the size can be 0. If you type a 0 in there, Windows won't deal with it. And now we need to create the variable SATTR. I'm going to make this variable in the data block, which is static data, primarily because this compiler doesn't let buffers or UDTs or objects on the stack. So I'm going to look for win64.udts. I'm going to look for security attributes. And I'm going to name that variable SAATTR. There is a value I want to modify, which I'm not really sure if it's required, but I'm going to do it anyway. Length, which is length of the structure. SAATTR. There we go. Dot size. Okay. There is one more. I'm not going to type it in right now because I don't know if it's required for what we're doing. Now the return of the function will be non-zero on success in the RX register. Jump if it's not equal to 0, but here's our error condition. Let's write out some sort of error message. Error creating the pipe. Return. Okay, that will create the pipe for us. It's going to have a hReadPipe, hWritePipe will be handles. And what I want to do next is to create the data that I'm going to write into the pipe. So in order to do that, I need what I'd call like a memory block, but I do have in my runtime a module that helps me with memory blocks, and it's called the void. So I'm going to make a local data, static data object, and will be the void object, and I'm going to name it my void. So that won't need to be initialized because it's going to be in program space. It's just kind of easier for me to do that, and just to not even use the memory manager. So I'm going to invoke my void dot write line seem to be okay. So when I'm making a video, things don't work as well for some reason. There. Tell you what, let me just type this off video. It'll be a little quicker. Okay. There's our data that we're going to write to the pipe. It's in the memory block managed by my void. What we're going to do now is we're going to write this data to the pipe. We do that like this. My void has some functions, and write to file is one of the functions. Now, my void thinks it's a file. It doesn't know it's a pipe, because apparently in Windows, writing to a file is the same as writing to a pipe. You just simply give it the handle, which is the write pipe, and this offset would be inside of the memory block where we want to start writing from. So I'm going to start at 0, which means I want the entire memory block. And that will write to the pipe. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to figure out how to read from the pipe. Okay. So let's go up here. Let's make another object. This is going to be a module that I have in my runtime called the line reader. Now, the line reader is actually kind of an extension of a void, which means like the void would be the base class to the line reader. And it's kind of built into the line reader module. And I'm going to name it destination. Well, my destination. And down here, let's just comment this to be right to the pipe. This will be, I don't know what it'll be yet. So the first thing I want to do is we want to initialize the destination void. Now, we didn't do this for the my void up top. I don't know if anyone noticed that or not. We just start writing right to it. It has built in there where if it's not initialized and you write to it, that it's going to initialize you some space. But for this case, for the line reader, we need to initialize it. So let's do my dest and see what we have here. We have, I know we have some variables. Yep. So we have the void is actually a variable of the line reader because it's built in and it's shared. It doesn't have to be shared, but it is. So we're basically accessing the void that's kind of encapsulated within the line reader. And we're going to go for some code here in the void. And what we're looking for is new. Now new is overloaded a little bit. You can give it, you can just make a blank one, which is the first one, or the second one is from a pipe. And it's actually named the same as our variable, hread pipe. What that does is it essentially initializes a void and reads from the pipe. Kind of all in one. Kind of wish it didn't have that all built in one, because it kind of takes away the fun of doing it manually here, but let's just keep going. Read from the pipe. Now, after it reads from the pipe, then we want something to show up on the screen that we can see what happened. Let's see what MyDest has for code. Echo to console. That seems pretty nice. No parameters. I don't even know if I need to even comment that. Now at the bottom here, we're going to close some things down. Like the hread pipe and hwrite pipe. So Windows will know that we're done with them. There's close handle. Hread pipe. And we're going to go win64 dot go dot close handle hwrite pipe pipe. And while we're at it, let's take the my void code.clear. Did I say in void? Let's try invoke. And that's not dest, it's my dest. .code.clear. And there we go. Let's give that a try. My screen is cut a little short, so you're not seeing the right side of the screen when I click the drop down to compile and run. Don't know why I clipped it off, I just did. What we have here is we have the output, press enter. That, my friends, is about the simplest use case of the void I could think of. Just, did I say the void? Creating of the pipe that I could think of. Just simply creating the pipes or pipe, writing to it, and reading from it. And thanks for watching.